Do you know that's one of the most favourite pieces that people like in my new keyboard book, Power On. Welcome everybody, my name's Tom and thanks for joining me here on a Tuesday. For many years now we've done a series of videos called 2-Minute Tips in which we explore a little quick tidbit, a little musical lesson in 2 minutes. And we've done hundreds and hundreds of those videos, so we're going to now start a new series called Theory Tuesdays. Today I'm going to show you that ending there in that piece. You see how it had a finished sound? And we're going to explore why that is and the theory behind it. So if you'd like to learn more, let's head over the keys and take a look at what we call perfect cadences. Let's go. Okay, so this is the book we're using for this particular music lesson example. This is my new keyboard book for organ and keyboard players called Power On. You can grab a copy of this if you haven't already got a copy on the website, tomhorton.co.uk. But here at the end, look, you can see that we've got the end of the first phrase, and it goes F, G7, and C. So let me just play you through that, and then we'll zoom the camera in on the book. So here we go. So there we go, D minor. I'm just playing on the piano today, just for a bit of simplicity. And let me play the chords now. Here's the ending. And you can hear that sounded completely and totally finished. So what we're going to show you now is where that is in the music, and it's this part here. Okay, this little part here, and it's going F and G and C. Now that sequence, F, G7, C, is a very common sequence inside musical pieces, and in fact you've probably actually played that loads and loads of times over the years. But let's explore now why that creates this thing called a perfect cadence. So a cadence is a type of ending. Okay, it makes a piece of music sound finished. It makes a section of a piece of music perhaps sound finished. Now, in the key of C, we have our scale, and that gives us our row of 7 notes plus the repeating note of C at the end. But there's 7 notes really: C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and of course we give each of those a number. C being the first, second, D, 3, E, and so on, all the way up. Now in major and minor keys there are 3 chords that we call the primary chords, and the primary chords are a bit like primary colours, these 3 basic things that can offer so much different variety as we go along. And so the 3 basic chords in any key are the first chord, which is based on the first note, C, the 4th chord is F, because the 4th note of the scale, and the 5th note is G, which is the 5th chord of the scale. So basically what happens is we play, we do these in organ keyboard mode as we're using an organ keyboard book. I've got my C chord, which is number 1, my F chord, which is number 4, and the chord based on the 5th note of the scale, G, is of course the G chord, but in this case we're going to enhance that with G7. Okay, so here's the second line of Far Away Romance, and you can see that it's leading in here with an E7 and an A minor, but then it goes, the sequence is F, which is 4, to G7, which is chord 5, and then back home to 1, which of course is our tonic. So here's the second line leading to the end of that verse. So using my electronic organ keyboard chords, F, G7. Okay, and if I put the pedals in, the bass note, look, da 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 da, and you can hear it's actually going, it is now the end. There you go, so it's a completely finished sound. So that in music is referred to as a perfect cadence. It's in its simplest form, the 5th note going to the 1st note. And even that, if you listen to that, look, it actually goes, the end. That's why it sounds totally finished. The 5th going home to 1. Sometimes in music, though, we can extend the endings a little bit. So what I did, I introduced a sequence known as 4-5-1. And 4-5-1 is a very, very common ending. So what happens is we play the F chord for 2 beats, We then follow it with G chord for 2 beats, and then we finish with a whole bar of C. Now, to enhance the ending effect, we use a thing called a dominant seventh. A dominant seventh is any chord that is basically a major chord, but with a thing called a lowered seventh, or it's a minor seventh interval on the end. Don't worry too much about that. But it's basically 7 notes above the root note, and instead of being the major note from the scale, we drop it down and we change it to the same note that's in our scale. So in the key of G, for those of you who have scale knowledge, we have F sharp, but of course F sharp is not in the key of C. We've got an F natural, and so that's why we put an F natural in, because F in C major is the natural F, not the sharp F. So G major chord goes, hey, I normally have this seventh, and C major goes, well, you can't have that, I don't have that, but I've got a normal F, so how about you have that instead? So we still get that seventh sound, but it fits better in the key of C major. We'll talk about dominant sevenths in another video, of course. So that's why that's there. So F, G7, and that is called a dominant seventh. It's G dominant seventh. Dominant means it's strong, it's controlling, takes hold of the music, and it pushes it home. And so that's why that sound is created. It creates a perfect cadence. So to sum up there, perfect cadences normally involve you playing the 5th chord of the key. So in the key of C, look, you've got G major, and that always then goes to C. If it doesn't go to C, it's not a perfect cadence. We can extend the ending by going 4, 5, 1, so F major to G major to C major, and that creates a nice ending. If we look at another piece in the book, let's say the next one, Evening Time, that's in the key of G. So if we count up from G 5 notes, G is number 1, look. There's our scale of G. So G, A, B, C, D. That's the 5th. And so D goes home to G, look. There you go. So in my music, if I look through, look, and I find my little cadence point, okay, here it is at the end, look. Okay, I've got ba, 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 ba. There it is, look, there's the D7 chord going to the G chord. Okay, here's another ending, look. D7 going to G. And so that will sound like this. Okay, A minor, D7, G, the end. There you go, so it's a dominant seventh going home to the tonic, and that's a thing called a perfect cadence, and that's how it works. So you can see a lot of knowledge can be gained just by simply knowing the scale of the key that you're playing in, numbering each of the scale notes 1 through 7, and then remembering that chords 1, 4 and 5, those are based on the 1st, the 4th and the 5th notes. They're always major chords in a major key. Those are your primary chords, and we use those to create a lovely perfect cadence, 5 to 1, and it can be extended by going 4 to 5 to 1. We'll take a look at that in another video, but thanks for watching, everybody. I say this is my first Theory Tuesday video, and I say each week we're going to week or two we're going to do a different video covering the mechanics of music, why things are the way they are, why things are because they work that way and not just because it is. So we're going to hopefully break down some of the mechanics and the background of that, and as I say, throughout that we'll also take a look at some topics which you'll find in your music theory books, such as Associated Board, those who are doing your theory exams. So thanks for watching, everybody. Have a little play with some of your songs, and the next time you hear that very distinct ending, you'll know that you're hearing a perfect cadence in whichever key you're in. Hit subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot, everybody. Take care, and bye-bye.